Chapter 65. Another Change of Plans. Pete and Elena arrived at Scrignoli's Ristorante. "We're here for the rehearsal dinner," Pete said. "It's upstairs," the hostess said. "Follow me." "Hey, Pete." Gabe pointed to the two empty seats at his table. "How y'all doing?" Pete said. "Elena, this is Candy. And this is her husband, Luke. Good to see ya. This is Leslie and her husband, the legendary Frog." "A pleasure to meet you both," Elena said. Frog grinned. "And speaking of meat, Pete, did you know that a cannibal won't eat a clown?" "Because clowns taste funny," Pete replied. Gabe said, "Elena, this is Heaven. And Lynn? And this is Guy." The man shook Pete's hand. "I'm Lynn's fiancé." Pete took Elena to the head table to greet Kathy, Dennis, Rita, Artie, Judy, and the priest, Father Keith. He and Elena sat down across from Gabe and Ginny. The food arrived on large platters. There were meats, salads, vegetables, breads and cheeses, an impressive spread. Artie stood to his feet. "I want to thank you all for coming tonight." He paused to look around the room. "And I want to offer a toast for my daughter and her betrothed." The multitude stood and lifted their goblets. Artie started to tremble. His words seemed trapped in his throat. "To Dennis and Kathy, may your..." He stood silently for a few tense moments, his shoulders twitching. He tried to say something again, but he shivered and coughed twice. Abruptly, he sat down. "What's wrong, Artie?" "I can't breathe, Judy." He reached for her hand and began to gasp for air. Dennis caught him as he fell from his chair. "Daddy!" Kathy was hysterical. Dennis held her tight. "Call an ambulance," Judy shouted. "Artie, stay with me, doll. We're getting help, Artie. Stay with me, sweetheart." Leslie quickly unbuttoned Artie's collar and pulled his tie off. "Let's lay him down on the floor," she said. "Artie, you're going to be okay. Does anything hurt?" Artie pointed to his left shoulder. "Is that where the pain is?" Leslie asked. Artie pointed up and down his left arm. "All right, Artie. We're going to get through this just fine. Breathe in now, slowly. That's it. Nice and easy now. Good. Breathe in, Artie. That's it. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Good." "They're holding me here against my will, Albert. I'm not crazy." The orderly handed Val a cigarette and lit it off his own. "Sure you are, honey. We're all crazy. My parents stuck me in here because I told them I wasn't coming back. They're religious fanatics. But you're over 18, right?" "Yeah, so?" "So they can't make you do anything." "Well, okay, Albert. My mom had me committed, if you must know. 'Cause I tried to freaking kill myself. I'll admit it was stupid, okay? But I was supposed to be on the Ed Sullivan Show, my national debut, and I couldn't freaking sing." "Couldn't sing? All you gotta do on TV is move your lips. Just follow the dang record, you know." "Well, I couldn't do it. It's not as easy as it sounds. My voice has been shot for more than a month, and these people in the record business, well, you know how they are. Just a bunch of leeches out to suck you dry. I wasn't getting any sleep, so I did kind of go off the deep end a bit." He dipped his mop in the bucket and wrung it out. "So, you're a singer, are you?" You heard Fantasy and Moonbeams, right? Can't say as I have, miss. I don't listen to that much music these days. Well, you know who Brick Collins is, don't you? Brick Collins? The name sounds familiar. You know who the Beatles are, right? Course I know who the Beatles are. And Elvis and the Everly Brothers. It's not like I hate music. I just don't have much use for it lately. When the Beatles split up, George went solo, right? Brick was his bass player. He's been on bunches of other people's albums too, like Dylan and Van Morrison and Led Zeppelin. Albert nodded the trash bag and put a new liner in the wastebasket. He played bass and harmonica and sang harmonies on Roy Orbison's comeback tour. You know who that is, right? Albert nodded. Only the Lonely. Pretty Woman. Yeah, big hit, solid gold. Brick's a genius. He can hear the whole freaking soundtrack, every single instrument, when I just sing the basic melody for him. Like I said, miss, I don't have a whole lot of use for guys like that. I'd rather hunt and fish and just get away from it all. I mean, most of these punks don't want to serve their country, right? They think they're too dang smart to put on the uniform like old Elvis did. No, they don't want to give up their narcotics and their women and all their stupid dang parties. So where do you go, Albert, when you want to get away from it all? Oh, I know some places, little lady. Can you take me? When you're finished with your treatment? I guess I could show you a good time. I mean, I could if you're looking for a serious change of scenery or something. I'm not talking about going somewhere after they shrink my head and turn me into a zombie man. I'm talking about getting the hell out of here tonight. Tonight? I don't know about that. I'm not really looking for trouble, if you know what I mean. What do they pay you here, Albert? $3.30 an hour. But it's steady. I can definitely make it worth your while. Jesse lay asleep in his cradle. How's Artie? Rita whispered. Not so good, Ginny said. But he seems to know who he is and what's going on, Gabe said. He's got lots of friends there. Lots of company. Judy told me to thank you for everything you've done, Ginny said. Rita shrugged. I didn't do that much, really. What time did Jesse go to sleep? Ginny asked. Around 9:30, hun? She faced Gabe. You got a call from heaven about an hour ago. To see how Artie's doing? Uh-huh. And she said Valerie's missing. They're very worried about her. She wanted you to give her a holler when you get in. Here's the number. Gabe dialed the phone. Hello? Heaven? Hi, Gabe. How's Artie? Still in intensive care, but stable, whatever the heck that means. He can't talk with that tube they stuck in him, but he nods his head, and it seemed like he was going to laugh a couple times, too, but there's just so many darn machines hooked up to him. Did they find a donor? Not yet. They will, dear. Did you hear about Val? I know she was sick. I heard she was missing. She tried to take her own life. She did. Oh, man. She took a bunch of sleeping pills, but then she called someone and they got her to the hospital in time. Thank God. Betty Lou put her in a mental hospital a couple weeks ago, but late last night somebody spotted her in the parking lot with an employee. They called security and the police put out an APB on the guy. He's got 2 arrests for assaulting women. Betty Lou's just totally freaked out. I can imagine.
She's still up in New York with John, but she asked us to keep an eye on the church and the well, too, and her old house, and call all her friends in case anyone's heard from her. No lead so far. She's asking everybody who knows Val to please pray.
Did someone call the local authorities?
John and Betty Lou did. Everyone's looking for her now, and it's going to be in all the papers tomorrow, too, and probably on TV and the radio.
I hope to God she's okay.
Me too, Gabe. All we can do is pray and trust God.
Chapter 66. Valerie's Odyssey ends. Pete called Triss's contact in Texas. Hey, Max, it's Pete. Talked to Triss lately?
He was here yesterday to deliver the guitars and drums.
Listen, Max, I need you to get a message to him.
Yes, Pete, what is it?
First, tell him they called off the wedding. Kathy's father had a heart attack, a real bad one. He needs a transplant. Ask Triss to call me, please. But if he can't get me, Max, tell him to call Gabe. 'Cause Valerie tried to kill herself, and she's missing.
The girl we saw on television a couple months ago?
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Pete. When I see Nick tomorrow, I'll tell him what you told me.
2 weeks after Val's disappearance, the police contacted Betty Lou.
Mrs. Parrish, this is Captain Beller from Little Rock, Arkansas. We have the man who took your daughter in custody, but she's still missing.
Oh, dear Lord.
Ma'am, the suspect's been questioned, and we're trying to piece together all the info we have so as we can find her. Right now, we're working with the FBI, and her picture's everywhere. Plus, her having been on national television and all, she's probably getting more attention than just about anyone else that's been missing.
So what do we know at this point, sir?
The suspect says they were camping and she drugged him and stole his car. But we found the car less than a mile down the road. It had some major engine damage. We're viewing his whole story as suspicious, but we don't have any evidence of foul play at this point.
But, sir, he has 2 convictions for violence.
No, ma'am. He has 2 arrests, not 2 convictions, with the same woman, his ex. He says she used to get violent all the time, and his story checked out. She did have a history of being mentally unstable. He said she called the police after she attacked him, and he was just defending himself. Last time was back in '60. Charges were filed that time, but then she died in a car crash. She'd been drinking heavily. 0.26 blood alcohol, ma'am. That case never went to trial.
Three weeks after his heart attack, Artie received a new heart. He lay quietly in his bed as Kathy held his hand, while Judy stood listening to the cardiologist. It's probably 3-4 more weeks at least, Mrs. Solomon. The body's natural defenses have to be monitored so he doesn't reject the new organ. Is he going to be able to go back to work? I have every reason to believe he will,
in time. But you'll have to take it easy, as little strain as possible for the next few months anyway. You'll have to talk to him, Doctor, 'cause he's been pretty much non-stop his whole life. I'll talk to him, ma'am. Don't worry. Every time the phone rang, Betty Lou jumped. On the last Saturday of October, she got a letter with a Houston, Texas postmark. Dear Mom, I'm all right. I just needed to get out of there. I'm staying with a friend now. Please don't worry about me and don't try to find me. I'll call you next week. I promise. I love you, Val. Tuesday night she called. Hello? Happy Halloween, Mom. Valerie, where are you? Texas. Where? I can't tell you, Mom. I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, baby. I always tried to raise you right. It's not your fault, Mom. You don't sound good, honey. Please, tell me where you are. I can't, Mom, but I do love you. I've got to go. Valerie, please. The next morning, Val drove from Brownsville, Texas, to the People's Clinic in Nuevo Comienzo. She stumbled through the front door in the late afternoon and saw Diane. Is Tris here? She rasped. He's picking up patients in the villages. Are you okay? I'm just tired and a little froggy. You're one of Tris's friends? Oh, yeah. We've been real good friends for a long time. Tris is my nephew. I'm Diane. Oh, you're Karen's sister. Yes. So you know her? Sure, yeah. We go way back. So where are you visiting from? New York. You've come a long way. What's your name? Val. Val, why don't you have a seat, dear? I'll tell Karen you're here. Can I get you a cup of coffee, tea, juice? Coffee be good. She was shaking. Here you go, honey. Diane walked to the building annex. Karen stood over a frail older man recovering from pneumonia. Diane whispered, the girl that's been missing just pulled in. Valerie? Yeah. Is she all right? She seems disoriented, like she might be on something. I better go talk to her, Di. Can you look after things till Marcy gets here? Sure. Karen found Val passed out in the front lobby with the coffee spilled on her lap. She jumped to her feet. I'm sorry, Karen. I didn't mean to make a mess. I'm just so tired. Don't worry about it, honey. Karen wrapped her arms around Val. Aren't you going to tell me how everyone's been worried sick about me? Val said. Karen laughed. Well, I can if you want me to. Val burst into tears. I'm just so tired of running. Oh, you poor sweetie. You don't have to run anymore.
6 p.m. and he's looking out a window again, watching another day come to an end. She sits in a metal chair, rolling those wheels, going nowhere. But she never grumbles or complains. She's living on fantasy and moonbeams. Always look for a hopeless romantic. You can look at the sun as long as you want, but be careful when you look at the moon. Why don't you give me some time? I feel like I'm losing
John walked into the house with a bucket of fried chicken. "Did you hear, Betty Lou? Fantasy and Moonbeams is #1 on the charts now." Betty Lou nodded. "Yes, and 2 of the songs she wrote for other people are in the top 10. Proving once again, my love, that God causes all things to work together for good for those who love him." That's an interesting way of looking at it. Now that we know she's safe, honey, you have to admit you couldn't have dreamed up a better publicity campaign in a million years. No, I suppose not. I know you're still worried about her, hon, but God's got his hand on her. He protected her through this whole ordeal. But why won't she come home? Because she's a woman. She's grown up, Betty Lou, and she needs to establish her own house, make her own set of rules, maybe even get married. You know how she loves Tris. Yes, and he loves her too, John, but I don't think it's the marrying kind of love. We'll see. After spending 2 days in the hospital, Val moved into the guest room of Ellen Price's cottage. Tris took her to the beach on Saturday, and after a swim, he played his guitar. She listened and even mouthed some of the lyrics, but the old spark wasn't there. "I haven't played a song for almost 2 months, she lamented. He nodded. He understood. "I just started to hate the whole thing, Tristan. But I had to keep going because I'm not a quitter." That's when I started popping pills. Pills to wake up, pills to go to sleep, and then I woke up one day and I just couldn't sing at all. And my hands and fingers weren't doing what they're supposed to do. Charlie took me to see a doctor, and he gave me some muscle relaxers and tranks, and I felt more mellow, but I just lost whatever it was I had before, whatever it was that made it all work. Now I can't sing my way out of a wet paper bag. That's why I didn't want to sing on TV for millions of people and make a complete fool out of myself. Tris put his arms around her. "I bought you a keyboard yesterday. It's real nice. You don't have to play it for me. It's just there for when you get the urge back." "But what if it doesn't come back?" "It will, Val. You're a musician, you know." "Yes, I know. And musicians changed the world." "Exactly. I love you, Tristan." "I love you too, Valerie. Will you kiss me?" She closed her eyes. "You're beautiful, Val. Just kiss me." Judy brought Artie home for Thanksgiving. Kathy, Dennis, Gabe, Ginny, Jesse, and Rita were all there, along with Kathy's 2 grandmas, her grandpa, her Uncle Phil, Aunt Jo, and Cousin Carrie. The men watched football while the women baked pies and cookies. Judy made sure Artie didn't overindulge. She tucked him in early, and everyone kissed him goodnight. "So, when are you and Dennis getting married?" he asked Kathy as she stood by his bed. "When the weather's nice again and you're getting around better. Don't let me hold you back, Angel." "I love you, Daddy." "I love you too, Angel. Everything's going to be all right." The Strawberry Lady, featuring the original cast, debuted to critical acclaim in Pittsburgh the first weekend in December. John and Betty Lou continued to oversee Wellspring Community Services under the auspices of the Grace Evangelical Lutheran Church. Atlantic Records mailed VALS' first royalty check to Max Rodriguez in January of 1973. Charity Fry married Professor Joseph A. Grappelli in February. Heaven, assisted by Marie and Joanne, opened a home for unwed mothers in Cross. Artie returned to work in April. Kathy got her master's degree in social work and took a job with a Pittsburgh hospice service. Chapter 67, A Surprise Visit. Kathy chatted on the phone with a very excited Ginny. "What's your due date?" "Right around Christmas." "Gabe's thrilled, I presume."
He's beyond thrilled.
"I'm so happy for you."
I'm happy for me, too. It's just so wow.
"Did you tell Dan?"
Not yet, but Ma knows she's all smiles.
The chime sounded. "Someone's here, Jen. Can I call you right back?"
Let me call you back. I've got a client coming any minute.
"All right, girlfriend. Bye." Kathy opened the front door. "Val! Hi!" "Hi, Kat. I thought I should come out and see you. I need to straighten something out." "Oh, yeah? Why don't you come in? I must say, this is a surprise." "Well, I've been traveling a bit. I was out west, visiting my dad. I hadn't seen him for a real long time, you know. He wrote me a few letters and all, but I never wrote back." "Was it nice seeing him again?" Val nodded. "Can I get you something to drink?" She handed Val a can of Mountain Dew. They sat facing each other in the living room. "So, how's your dad?" Val asked. "He's still my daddy. He lost a bunch of weight, but not a single ounce of charm. Yeah, he certainly got plenty of that." "So you flew here?" "Yeah, wearing my red wig. At least I can still use my real name, and they don't know I'm Valerie Youngblood." "Is it real different from what you thought?" "I'm not sure what I expected. I just wanted to make a name for myself." "You've certainly done that." "You remember when Tris took me to the Rosedale Inn to make my singing debut, right before he went to L.A.? "Of course I remember. I was a little jealous, you know. I thought it was so cool that I got to see him like that right before he left," Val said. "You were always special to him." "Yeah, we had a real nice time, all right, Tristan and me and Mom. Anyway, Kat, he said he needed to talk to me about something. I said sure, and he said, 'I know you're really ticked off at your father because of what he did.' 'You're darn right I'm mad,' I said, and I told him why, like the fact that he cheated on Mom and got Candy pregnant, and then he took off with all our money. Yes, I remember. Tris said he could understand how I felt. But my dad didn't do those things because he didn't love me,' Tris said. 'No, he just messed up.' And I got a little peeved at Tris when he said that. 'He knew exactly what he was doing,' I said, 'and he did it anyway.' Tris says if he knew what he was doing, he wouldn't have done it.
He says he had to forgive his father for what he did to his mother before he was born. You know about that, right? Kathy nodded. Yeah. He said my father really needed my forgiveness. So I said, okay, Tris, I forgive him. But I didn't really. I stayed mad. I was so driven back then. I figured singing was my ticket to the top. Mom just wanted us to go to church, and the new pastor really liked her, but in my book, he was just as phony as the last one. So I went to New York as soon as I turned 18. I figured I'll start singing somewhere, and then I'll make a record and start making some serious bread. And I met Brick Collins, George Harrison's bass player, the second week I was there. And Brick really liked my music. He helped me make a record and got me some airplay too, national exposure. He was really nice to me. And then he said he loves me, and it felt real. So I let things run their natural course. I knew inside it was a mistake, that he had other girlfriends, but he was so amazing. Kathy handed Val a plate of cookies and another can of soda. Everyone said they liked my record, Cat, but it wasn't selling very much. Then Robin Strobe and Susie Driggers recorded songs I'd written, and they're stars. I'm headed for the top now, I told myself. But now I'm pregnant, and I'm really happy about it, too, because I figured Brick and me were made for each other. We'd get married, or at least we'd be together. But he said he didn't believe in marriage, and he didn't want kids. He wanted me to get an abortion. But I said, no way. And all of a sudden, it was like he turned into my dad. He was gone all night, and his other girlfriends called him up, and they hung up when I answered the phone. He was recording Susie and making it with her the whole time. Still, I'm making pretty decent money. I figured I could raise the baby myself and keep writing songs. Val started weeping softly. Kathy pulled her close and held her. I went to see the doctor. She hung her head and fought back the tears. He told me my baby didn't have a heartbeat. After that, I needed pills just to get through the day. Then my voice just totally quit on me, and I just wondered, what's the point? I thought about dying all the time. I figured I might just as well. I just didn't care anymore. But then, after I swallowed enough stuff to do the job, this is the honest truth, Cat, I was starting to nod out, and then I thought about us all singing One Bottle of Pop for the old folks. And something made me pick up the phone and call Veronica. She called the ambulance. Val took a couple of deep breaths. Mom and John came the next day. I was still blaming everything on her. I told her to leave me alone. I told her it was all her fault because all they cared about was the church. I really let her have it. Kathy took Val's hand and kissed it. I still didn't feel much like living, but I didn't want to be in a mental hospital either. So I talked this orderly into helping me escape. And then I had to figure out how to get away from him. He wanted to be my protector. It was kind of cute at first. But I ditched him in Arkansas and hitched a ride to Texas. I scraped together a few bucks for some bracelets I stole.
and I bought a car for $70. I drove it into Mexico to find Tris. It was really falling apart, and so was I. But I got there. Val took another deep breath and scratched her head several times. Kathy handed her a cookie. Thanks, Kat. You know, Kat, you're the only girl Tristan ever loved. Just you. Kathy stared at her in disbelief. I mean, you are the one he's always been in love with. Anyway, Kat, when I got there, I didn't have my keyboard, and my voice was no good anymore, and I was mad at the whole world, 'cause I thought the world was rotten. But Tris just wants to know what he can do for me. Every day, he sings for me. He talks to me, but mostly he just listens to me. And we go for long walks. He keeps telling me he loves me, and I started thinking, wow, Tris loves me. Maybe we can get married. We can have kids. Write some hit songs. And Karen's being really nice, too. And his aunt and his uncle and his cousins, even his grandma. I stayed at her house. They all knew I was in really bad shape. But everyone was so nice all the time. Val bit into her cookie and yawned. I think I got the jet lag. Do you need to lie down? Not till I tell you what I came here to tell you. Okay, sweetie. I'm listening. Val yawned again. So I'm there for a month, Kat. Just licking my sores, basically. Well, I asked Karen, what can I do to help? There was always something, and I felt a little better. But I was still hurting real bad inside. One day, we're at the beach, and Tris started singing a song to me about a man in prison. He's in prison, right? And he gets a letter telling him his little girl died. I just started crying, and I couldn't stop. He held me. Val sighed deeply and shook her head several times. Tris held me in his arms, like for an hour. I don't know what happened, Kat, but I just started feeling all kinds of love, and I hadn't felt anything like that for a long, long time. Kathy was teary-eyed, too. I'm so glad, Val. Tris got me a new keyboard. He told me if I could sing for one of those little girls that was sick, she might not be so scared. So I started singing to the little girls. And the boys, too. They're all so precious. Well, my voice came back just like that. I'd see those little kids smile, and all of a sudden, I'm smiling too, and I start feeling happier than I ever felt in my whole life. Now, I was happy almost all the time. I told Mom what happened, and I told John I loved him, and I meant it. The record company sent me my first royalty check, and it was almost $12,000. I started writing songs again, and I helped at the clinic. There's always people there that need something. I really loved it there, but I knew I couldn't stay. When did you leave? Last Thursday. I flew straight to Frisco and drove down from there to see Dad at the Soledad prison. Did he know you were coming? No, I surprised him, but I'd written him a few letters already. I bet he was surprised. He was so glad to see me, Kat. It was unbelievable. And I really do love him. Almost as much as you love your daddy. That's so neat. Does he know about Brooklyn?
Yeah, he knows. Mom wrote and told him a couple years ago. And I talked to Candy, too. She said she sent him some pictures. Wow, that is something, all right. I'm headed for Cross later on to see Mom and John. It's been a while. But you came all the way here to see me first? And I want to play you a song, too. Really? Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something you already know. What's that? Val looked her straight in the eye. You and Tris belong together. Kathy's jaw stiffened. Unfortunately, my dear, he doesn't share your opinion. But you're wrong about that. Kathy stood up and stared. And how would you know that? Val jumped to her feet and set her face just inches from Kathy's. Listen to me, girl. I asked him to kiss me, okay? And he gives me this teeny little kiss on the forehead. I try to get some serious lip action going, you know? But he's so darn committed to you, and I can see right away I'm just wasting my time. Well, it's been more than a year since I heard from him. But I'll bet you when your daddy was in the hospital, he got a card from Tristan, didn't he? Kathy nodded. And a book. And a tape. Well, doesn't that tell you something? Yeah. He's thoughtful. Everybody knows he's thoughtful. Listen to me, Kat. You cannot marry a man you're not in love with. How would you know who I'm in love with? He asked you to marry him, and you went to Mexico. Now just look me in the eye, okay? Has anything changed? If Tris told you he needs you, can you honestly tell me you'd say, sorry, man, you're too late? Kathy's voice trembled. Valerie, I haven't heard a word from him. Nothing. You just don't get it, do you, Kat? He loves you so much, he doesn't want anything for himself, just so you're happy, and he honestly thinks you'll be happier with Dennis. But he's wrong, Kat. He's 100% wrong, 'cause let's face it, Kat, you're not half as happy with Dennis on your best day as you were the first time I saw you with Tris, when you guys just couldn't wait for me to go lick an ice cream cone. Kathy started to laugh and cry. You know I'm right, Val said. Now please, have a seat, will you? I'm going to play a song for you. I found it in Tris's lyric book, and I made him play it for me. But he won't play it for anyone else. He wrote it right after you left Mexico. She sat at the piano and began to play.
I will wait right here till you go. There is no reason to run. There are no more words to be sung, but I long for you. I long for you. To my desperateness you speak, into my heart and soul you reach. There are no more words to speak, but I long for you. 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 I long for touch of Jesus sails on. I need one touch of Jesus. I'm I will wait right here till you come.
As the song ended, Val sat at the piano with her head bowed. Kathy lay on the couch, bawling her eyes out. Slowly, Val tiptoed over and sat on the floor. She laid her hands across Kathy's feet. A magnificent silence enveloped the room. Chapter 68, Rodrigo's Gift. Sunday morning at 4 o'clock, the taxi arrives. Kathy carries her suitcase into the terminal and boards the 6:40 flight to Corpus Christi. Max Rodriguez picks her up there, and Nick George flies her into Mexico. Love is breaking every chain as Karen's white light embrace lifts Kathy into a euphoric state. Rodrigo will be here in 10 minutes, Karen whispers. Where's Tristan? He's in the shop. Do you want to surprise him? Yes. She lays her suitcase on the steps of the clinic and begins to walk the cinder pathway to the guitar manufacturing plant. She can hear his voice now and feel his fingers delicately caressing the strings as her fingers begin to tingle in anticipation.
Sometimes when no one's watching, I like to slip away to a private table where we meet every day. We share our conversation under a banner of love. I find my consolation as you woo me with your love. You woo me with your love. You woo me with your love. Sometimes I feel like dancing to the music you play. It leads me into your presence where you ask me to stay. We're getting so much closer. Your love is so divine. I got to shout about it, that you are really mine. You are really mine. You are really mine. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Your love is so divine. I got to shout about it, that you are really mine. You are really mine. You are really mine.
The door is open. She sees the look of astonishment on his face. Tris lays his guitar down and leaps to his feet. "Hi, handsome," she says. He takes her hand and kisses it. He pulls her softly into his arms. "Oh, sweetness, I thought I'd lost you forever. I'm here. Will you marry me, Kathy?" She smiles, and his face lights up. "Sure, why not?" "Fantastic. I can fly up to Pittsburgh whenever you want." "No. No? We're getting married tonight, okay? Tonight? This is so... Hush now, and kiss me." After the ceremony, the mayor of Nuevo Comienzo prays for God's blessings on the newlyweds. He hands Tris a key. "I built this as a honeymoon cottage for me and my Catherine. After our first child was born, it became our getaway, our secret place. I still go there to pray and be alone, but it belongs to you now, and may God Almighty pour out his blessings on your marriage." Tris hugs the saintly old man. "Thank you so much, Rodrigo. Your mother and I have packed your bags, and look, here is your taxi." Diane and Ellen lead 2 donkeys to the edge of the canopy. "Looks like we are traveling in style," Kathy says. Tris hugs his mother. Tears of joy pour down her neck. "We will be just fine till you get back, Tristan, okay?" Tris nods. He and his bride mount and ride off into the woods. The wedding guests cheer and holler, while a band of musicians launches into exuberant sounds, proclaiming the vast glories of love. At the end of the path, a heart-shaped lantern hangs from a pole in front of the door. The simple wooden cabin sparkles and shimmers as the newlyweds approach it. He helps her dismount and takes their bags inside. She stands by the lantern. The sound of the crickets covers her like a spotless blanket. He comes to her now. Gently, he lifts her into his arms and carries her over the threshold.